Man was about to buy a plane ticket when he noticed something strange. Because of the heavy rain, all flights at the airport had been suspended, yet only Flight 180 was still scheduled to take off on time. Before he could process it, a staff member told him something even stranger. His date of birth matched the plane's departure time. The staff member's words made Jack extremely uneasy. Walking to the window, he looked at the old-looking plane and the pouring rain, and he couldn't shake a sense of foreboding. Then the airport broadcast began playing a familiar song. Jack clearly remembered that the composer of that very song had died in a plane crash. At that moment, in Jack's eyes, the boarding gate seemed like a passage leading straight to death. But urged by his classmates, Jack still followed them slowly toward the plane. As soon as they boarded, they heard a baby crying endlessly. When Jack turned his head, he saw a paralyzed man. These sights made him even more uneasy, and his suspicion grew stronger. At this time, two female classmates asked Jack to switch seats with them. Although Tom kept trying to stop him, Jack couldn't refuse his classmates' request. But to his surprise, the tray table at his new seat was broken. After the flight attendants confirmed that all passengers had boarded, they closed the cabin door. The plane was ready for takeoff, but Jack felt more and more restless inside. He tried his best to calm himself down. As the plane successfully took off, the passengers cheered with joy, excited about the pleasant trip ahead. But less than 5 minutes into the flight, the plane suddenly began to shake violently. The joyful mood instantly turned into fear. As the plane kept trembling, the oxygen masks dropped one after another. Everyone was in panic. Soon, the plane's electronic systems started to malfunction, causing the cabin to lose pressure. The cabin door was quickly torn apart by the force. In just an instant, the passengers sitting near the door were sucked out of the plane. Everyone else clung tightly to their seats, knowing that letting go for even a second could send them flying out of the plane. But the plane was already severely damaged, still thousands of meters above the ground, and no longer capable of landing safely. Moments later, it exploded midair. In the very next instant, Jack suddenly woke up from his dream. Standing in front of him were the same two female classmates, asking to switch seats. Jack was stunned. How could everything be exactly the same as in his dream? He immediately rushed to the front row, and sure enough, the tray table on that seat was broken. He realized that Flight 180 might really explode. Terrified, Jack stood up and shouted to warn all the passengers. But who would believe in something that hadn't happened yet? In the end, Jack was forced off the plane, but before he could even catch his breath, the plane exploded just as it had in his dream right after takeoff.